All right, now moving forward, in an effort to increase its product offering, Stanbic Bank is set to increase its sustainable finance in loan from the current 10% to nearly 30%. Now, according to the lender, green finance offers a new opportunity for investment, with offerings such as green bonds and infrastructure bonds remaining highly untapped. However, the lender remains skeptical about hiking interest rates and the impact it will have on such products. I spoke to William Kamasi, the bank's sustainability head, to understand the opportunities in green finance. All right, William, thank you so much for making time to come and speak to us. So one of the things that we really want to understand is, how is the bank integrating ESG criteria in the lending and investment strategies?
I think ESG for us and sustainability is critical. It's the core of our strategy. And at a bank, we think about it in four main areas. How we deploy our capital, specifically which sectors are we playing in, which areas are we seeking to impact across our business model. We also look at some of the client propositions we have as the second pillar. So specifically, what are we offering to these clients? Are we providing enough education to them to understand some of these solutions? The third aspect is our own internal operations. We cannot go out there and say we are doing this thing to the clients if we are not ourselves living that purpose. So internally, we are also looking at our business models to see how do we then bring in all these components into the business and integration.
So when you look at the total volume of sustainable finance asset managed by Stanbic, how has that evolved over the last 5 years?
So we have about, our targets positioned about 10% of our current portfolio is around sustainable finance. We're also trying to evolve that, and then I think our long-term commitment is get it to about 25% to 30% in a long-term perspective. There's still a lot that needs to happen, particularly around the framework around this. So the framework here, I mean aspects to do with pricing, aspects to do with collateralization, aspects to do with impact and how we can measure this. One of the opportunities we see is that there's new markets that are opening up, new revenue streams that we're looking at, but still the framework around them to how do you legalize, for example, a carbon credit. It's still yet true. We're also realizing that while we do business, there are aspects of our businesses that we do that are sustainable in nature, but we just haven't tagged them or acknowledged them. So I'll give you an example. For example, where we fund, we give a customer a term loan, and they use that money to buy a solar panel. Mm-hmm. In essence, you've facilitated a sustainability program, but in your books, it will appear as a term loan. So we are going back to just tag these things and incorporate some of those principles in our lending to ensure that we are mapping it. So that target, we set ourselves about 20 to 30% of our portfolio to be in green finance. I see us meeting it very soon, because once we go back and check and do an audit, we'll be able to get there.
Can you talk about risks, and particularly how is the bank assessing risks associated with sustainable finance project, and what are some of the measures that are currently in place to mitigate against some of these risks?
And that's the exciting bit. It's exciting because we are in an environment where things are evolving. Risk-based pricing is the logic around it makes sense, because it acknowledges that you and I have different risks to the business, and therefore you and I then need to be priced differently. And in so doing, aspects to do with your behavior, aspects to do with new technology like AI and data analytics come into play. So it's modernizing the way we've been doing the traditional banking, where everybody was priced at the same rate. Now, with this, how does it then affect sustainability? So we're realizing that once we have the policy framework in place and some of the capabilities that we're looking for in place, we will start incorporating some of these sustainable collateral, sustainable tools and products as collateral. Meaning here, so for example, you have a business that can generate some carbon credits. That is not considered as another revenue stream for your business, and it's not considered in your cash flow. But as these things get better, we then will see collateral from carbon credits being used as collateral.
Yeah.
We will start seeing things like circularity. Circularity here, I mean the entire life cycle of a product being considered end to end. So, for example, if you're thinking about e-mobility, so a fleet of matatus, the pricing for EV matatu will be different from a fossil fuel matatu. So those things will reduce the pricing and eventually reduce even improve the structure of the loan facility.
This, of course, being a business show, we cannot go without talking about the value.
Yes.
We've talked about some of the investments. So in terms of the value, how much has the bank committed to green financing or even invested in green projects? And when you look at your loan book, how much does green financing account for?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, we have about 10% of portfolio currently within the green finance segment or linked to green finance projects. We are in the short term, in the long term, in the medium and long term, looking to grow that to about 25 to 30%. And that's our commitment. So about 30% of our portfolio will be green finance. What does that mean? It means a lot more opportunities for our clients to invest in spaces that have not been invested in. A lot more opportunities for our clients to start tapping into the lines of credit we have to grow their businesses.
This week, we saw CRDB of Tanzania also issue something in those lines, the first green bond that was issued in Tanzania.
Yeah.
So when we look into the future, are you currently working on something similar, or are you already in the final stages?
So yeah, I don't know if I'm at liberty to answer it, but yes, the simple answer to that is yes. It's a space we want to play in. We do have the expertise. The current interest rate environment is a bit volatile, but it's a space that we are keenly thinking about.
Thank you so much for making time to come and speak to us. And of course, going forward, this is a conversation that we will definitely be looking at some of the developments within the market.